In terms of the Senate and the House, we of course have Mazie Hirono, who is running for the Senate, and based off of those first printouts, she was in the lead. Then on the House side, you have Ed Case and Jill Takuda as your incumbents. And based off the first printoff, they were also in the lead for those races. So we, of course, will be taking a look at the second printoffs and trying to update for all of that for you. But we do have our political analyst in with us this morning, Robert Perkinson. Thank you again for being here. We've been covering a wide range of topics this morning. But let's talk about Congress, because we just kind of broke all of that down for everybody. Republicans retaking the Senate. The House right now still up for grabs.
Yeah, it looks like incumbents will prevail as expected in Hawaii, but a big shift around the country, especially in the Senate, which will give Trump a lot of authority to continue shaping the judiciary and pushing it right, and to get through his cabinet appointees. So that's big news. It sounds like we won't know for quite some time whether or not the House shifts to Democratic hands or remains in Republican hands.
It looks like they're going to be going district by district for that one to see who it comes out to. But I guess let's talk about what it would look like if Republicans have the House, Senate, Donald Trump.
Well, that will give Trump a great deal of capacity to push through a legislative agenda. He was not able to do that, it's worth remembering, in his first term. He was able to get through really just two pieces of legislation. COVID legislation, which wasn't especially conservative and actually did the right thing, pumped a lot of money into the economy and helped us get through that crisis, and a tax break that predominantly benefited the wealthy, which has been a Republican goal for a long time, and successive Republican administrations do that. So he wasn't really able to distinguish himself legislatively. He might be able to do that this time, but I actually have my doubts.
And we're taking a look at the latest map of the House right now. So as you're looking, you can see all those little squares. Those are all the different districts that we're seeing as they come through. The ones that's like a dark gray, that is where we're still waiting for those results to come in. And as Robert mentioned, there are some people making calls that it might be weeks before we truly know what the outcome for the House is actually going to be. And earlier we were talking about, what made voters come out, what truly were voters voting on that elected Donald Trump. And then I guess as we're looking for the House and the Senate, Republicans did flip quite a few seats in the Senate. So what are people looking at?
I'm not convinced that Donald Trump, as much as he's able to mobilize his base and may have made inroads with young male voters, I'm not convinced that his force of personality won the election. I think it really was more discontent with the economy, anger about inflation. Even though inflation is back down, prices stay up. We're never going back to a nickel Coke or a $3 box of Cheerios. And anger more generally about the economy that's been growing so well for a couple of generations, but it's not shared. It's concentrated at the very tip top. And for the middle and below, we're just, struggling to make ends meet, or not even making ends meet.
And we are still waiting for some of the results for certain states to come out, including battlegrounds, Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona. But this will be the first time since 2004 that Republicans may have won the popular vote.
Yeah, and that's, there's two lessons Democrats might take from this. Like, one, they have to shift even more to the center, as Kamala Harris was trying to do. There'll be another faction of the Democratic Party that suggests, no, they have to be more aggressive, not so afraid to break things, be a little bit more disestablishment themselves, push for a more kind of robust economic agenda. And I think that's why Trump won. He seemed like the candidate who wanted to mix things up. Democrats seemed like the party that was going to keep things the same.
Robert, thank you.